Welcome to Entertain This. This is a special where we're talking to Yellow Power Ranger. She was Areola in Not Another Teen Movie and 2002 Scream Queen in Cabin Fever. Cerina Vincent! Yay! Yeah, we got a whole audience here for you.
Oh my God, you guys are the best. That's adorable. Hi, thanks for having me.
You live in Las Vegas right now, correct?
Well, I'm in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
I was born and raised in Las Vegas.
Okay. And
yes.
Can you give me a quick, brief rundown of how you got into the industry?
Well, let's start from the beginning. My mother was a ballet teacher in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And so I grew up like in this home that celebrated the arts, and I had this dance studio in the back of our house.
Mm-hmm.
And an attic full of costumes, and I grew up with my siblings and cousins singing and dancing and making up plays and doing all of that, and I loved it. I think I had the acting bug from a really young age, and when I was 12, I was in a theater ensemble, and started doing musicals and plays and all kinds of things in the community, and then also in high school. In high school, I started modeling locally in Las Vegas, and then I was Miss Nevada Teen, and that took me to Miss Teen USA, which is really like this big television shoot. You basically all, it was like a reality show. You live with 50 other girls.
You won your state, correct?
I won my state, yeah.
Wow.
And I placed in the top
15.
12.
12, okay.
15, I think. Yeah, 15, you're right, in Nevada. Anyway, and then, so after that, I was like, well, this is what I want to do, but I didn't know how people got to be on television, really. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know how to do that.
That's why we're asking you.
In Las Vegas. Yeah. So I just, I started college in Los Angeles. I applied. I got a scholarship. I lived in the dorms. I started school, and it was in the theater program. In the first week of school, some Hollywood agent came to talk to the class, and I just walked right up to him and asked him if he would be my agent.
Wow!
And I auditioned for him and did a monologue for him, and
what was that?
And very quickly after that, I was auditioning.
What was that
and
like?
I had no idea. It was crazy. I had no money.
Yeah.
I didn't even have a cell phone. This was in 1998, 97, right?
Yeah.
There was no cell phones. I had to get a pager because
What's
I had to
pager?
get a pager so they could
Pager,
right? So he could get a hold of me.
Yeah.
So I was like driving all over the city, broke. Gas was 99 cents with a giant map, trying to figure out how to get to auditions.
Yeah. Was that a little nerve-wracking? I'm sorry. Was that a little nerve-wracking?
Yeah.
Your first audition for your forever job?
You want to know something?
Yeah.
My first audition ever was Power Rangers.
Wow.
But I think it was for like Astronema or something, and I blew it. Like I did a terrible job, or I thought I did a terrible job.
Well,
but maybe I didn't, because then they called me back a couple years later, or a year and a half later, and then that's when I auditioned for Maya.
Okay, so
there you go.
Yeah, that's awesome. Your first audition that you got was for Power Rangers.
My very first audition that I got in Los Angeles was for Power Rangers.
Okay.
And I think it was definitely for like an evil woman, and so it must have been the series before me. And so whatever, I don't even know what it was. I'd have to
I'm sure Mitch and Tom know.
This was like before email, right? It was before email. So like I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even search it.
That's wild.
So, yeah. And, I remember I thought I blew it.
No.
But I must not have.
Yeah. And,
right?
Now that we're talking on just the topic of Power Rangers, I'm sure Mitch and Tom have a million questions, but I gotta ask. It was a 45 episode run, and you did it in like 11 months. Was that the most hellacious year of your life?
Yeah, it was crazy.
I can't believe it.
It was totally crazy. I mean, it wasn't hellacious because, look, I was a kid, and I was on a TV show, and I was making a little bit of money. I mean, they don't pay you very much in Power Rangers.
Really?
But you guys know that, right? You've heard all those stories.
Yeah.
But
was it 6-day work weeks or something like that?
I was 5-day work weeks, but it was crazy hours. I mean, they worked us to death, and
oh man.
And so I don't remember a lot of it. I was just tired.
Yeah.
You're tired. You're in the makeup chair at 4:00 in the morning. You have like set your alarm for 3:00 in the morning. It's very unnatural.
Okay.
Shoots like that, and so it all happened really fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I got the job, it changed my life, and then it was over really quickly.
Really? Well, okay.
Yeah.
Let's let Mitch and Tom fan out for just a second.
Listen, it's timeless. It was over really quickly, but it's like it lasts forever, right? They just re-released it on Netflix, and I think that's so cool that to be part of this franchise is timeless. And
that is awesome.
It's still going.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Mitch, you first. What's a nerd question you got for?
Well, I was gonna ask. You doing all the like martial arts scenes and stuff? Did you have any background in that before, or did you just something that they choreographed on set, or how'd you come about doing that?
I didn't have any martial arts experience, except that like I said, I grew up in this household, and my mother was a dance teacher, so I grew up very active, and like I'm still very active, like exercise, like all that's a huge part of my life. And at the time, I was doing a lot of like Billy Blank's Taibo and stuff like that. So I don't remember what they had me do for the audition, but
wow.
I probably did some sort of like high kick and the splits, and I can still do all that stuff. So they didn't really make me do any martial arts for the audition, but they wanted to see that I could like move and like learn choreography and obviously I can.
Okay.
Taibo. It's been a long time
since I heard that.
Right? I know. But I will say that, if you don't know this, you should. There's an incredible stunt team.
Oh, yeah.
Underneath all those helmets.
You're right. They swap you guys out, right? And okay.
That's what's going to be one of my other questions is how much did you actually get to do?
If the helmet is on, it's not us.
Okay.
And that is just true for everybody. And so we have to give credit where the credit is due, and the stunt team is incredible. So if the helmet is on, it is a stunt person.
The first season,
you see our faces, it's us.
I remember the first season kind of has a little bit of a taboo history for today's standards because I think it's called wigging, where they would put male stunt performers in the female costumes. Did that happen in your season too? Yeah. Oh, did?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
Yeah, they totally did.
There's plenty.
I was like, oh my God, you can tell that guy is a guy. Like in the crotch area,
It's like bulge.
Come on, guys. Tuck that back a little more, please.
Well, Tom, you got a question for him?
At what point, you're on Power Rangers, when did it kind of come to terms where it's like, this is like a massive cultural phenomena? And like you're just down the street, people are just like, "Holy crap, that's the Lost Galaxy Yellow Ranger."
Nobody recognized me from Power Rangers.
Really?
Very few people have recognized me from Power Rangers. Yeah, because I just in the show they put like that weird like jungle hair on me. I don't know why. And then when I get like all dressed up like as me, I just I'm just not this. I just don't look quite the same. Yeah. So I never really got recognized. A little bit, actually. Like parents and things would like recognize my voice if I start talking. Like I've been recognized.
Really?
I was also on a mother on a Disney show called Stuck in the Middle, and I get recognized from that more. Especially if I start talking.
Okay.
But so yeah, I didn't not a ton. But what was it like at the time? Again, like I didn't really understand how massive it was. It's almost more like now I'm like, wow, that is so cool to be a part of something that we're still talking about.
Yeah,
like I didn't get to choose that. It was an audition and I booked it.
Right.
The path of an actor's life depends on the producers that hire us. Really, it was not up to me if I got that job. it was up to them to hire me, and then it was up to me to do a good job. And
so
it's interesting when you look at it that way.
But the legacy since then, I'm sure you've been to conventions, and I've actually got friends that have daughters that are very, I don't know if your character specifically, but some of the female characters in the Power Rangers different series, they've definitely clung to and kind of held them in their heroic standard, and I'm sure that that's pretty rewarding in itself if you ever kind of run into a situation like that. So.
Well, I definitely meeting the fans and going to conventions, and the Power Ranger fans are amazing, and that is that like when I say like part of the legacy, it's not just the actors, right? It's like it's also the fandom, and the Power Ranger fans are extra special.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah, they are.
Shut up.
They are. You are. And so it's really cool. I mean, I'm always meeting people that like bring me to tears. You know what I mean? And I have a lot of fans, right? I have horror fans from horror movies. I've got the people that want like me from like Not Another Teen Movie, and then I've got the kids from Disney, which is also so special and sweet. But there's something special and different about Power Ranger fans, and I'm just like I feel honored to be one.
I saw
a Ranger. Once a Ranger, always a Ranger.
I saw a thing where you did a Make-A-Wish Foundation as a Yellow Ranger and went to saw some sick kids, and I couldn't imagine. How far were you into your career when you were doing that?
I've done it a few times, so I don't remember. We did it as Power Rangers, and then we, they would come to set. The kids would come to set. It was so sad, and
oh wow.
And I also did it as recently with my Disney show.
Okay.
It's you just
I couldn't imagine.
Terribly sad.
Yes.
I have a child, right? Like he's 3. Like that is like the worst nightmare.
Oh,
right. Man. But I met a little girl who was a big fan of Stuck in the Middle, and I walked into her room in the hospital. She had leukemia, and she was 7 years old, and a really sad story. Like her parents just sort of abandoned her in this hospital, so the nurses just took care of her. Like she was just there all alone with these nurses, like her last days of life, and she was 7 years old. I can't even talk about it. So,
that is wild. At least you were something.
It's an honor. Our whole job in life is to like make the world a better place. All of us. We all have to like do good, be good.
Exactly.
Be kind, make people's days better. Like that. If I feel blessed to have a place in this business, and if that's what I can give back is a little bit of joy, then it makes me, very happy.
Well, thank you very much for that. We work in public service as our for real job. This is kind of like a passion for us, and we can definitely appreciate people who come way out of their way and put themselves in a very uncomfortable situation to try and make somebody else's life a little bit better. So
we have to. We have to.
Okay, let's go back to another cheesy Power Ranger question. Mitch.
Okay.
Well, I was going to ask, with the 30th anniversary of the Power Rangers this year, they're talking about one of the characters from the original, which played Billy, David Yost is going to reprise his role in some form or fashion. If they approached you, would you want to come back onto the show for a cameo or?
Absolutely. They approached me for the last, when was it? Was that like 10 years ago? When they did the other one?
It's either the Ninja Steel one or the Super Mega Force one. I know that's when they had like the big team-ups of people.
Super Mega Force.
Like the Ranger Army.
Yeah.
That was so
They
cool.
approached me for Super Mega Force, and I wanted to do it, but it's not a union.
Oh, okay.
Right? So I'm still a union actor, and I wanted them to just make it union, please. They had
an ensemble appearance of all these legacy Power Rangers, and they wouldn't make
every
a union.
Power Ranger.
They wouldn't make a union.
Yeah, but a lot of those guys aren't acting still.
No way.
So a lot of them aren't. Yeah,
that's wild.
Reggie did it, and not acting anymore. He's like works really high up in fashion, and I think Danny's a lawyer. Danny Slavin's a lawyer, so it was fine for them. But the union was on to us. So it was like look, they're on to me. They're going to give me a fine. I'll do it, but you pay the fine. They're going to fine me, and they're not, they weren't paying. They're going to like pay me $3,000, and the fine was $3,000. Right. So I was like, come on.
All right,
we'll figure this out.
We're in Georgia, which is a right-to-work state, and so like the union concept, film is obviously blowing up in Georgia, but there's still a lot of people, especially some of our listeners, that are kind of new to the industry, and they don't quite understand what that means. So do you blame the union? Do you blame the producers of the show? What's the situation?
I blame the producers of the show.
Okay.
I blame the producers of the show because here's the deal.
Yeah.
Look, actors, we're just basically independent contractors.
Right.
We go from job to job to job. Unless you're on a show that runs for 11 seasons, which is every actor's dream, there's no job security.
Right.
You just go job to job to job. Yeah. And you get your health insurance through the union. You have to make a certain amount of money through the union. You have to pay your union dues, and you have to make a certain amount of money through jobs through the union to qualify to be insured, to have health insurance, and then you also have to pay for your health insurance.
Yeah.
So so jobs that don't go through the union screw us out of money towards our pension and health.
Yeah,
and so like we have no other job security, right? Like it's not like it's not like working for the county and like you retirement. There is not that.
Right, you got to build all that yourself.
You're working or you're not,
Right.
And so we want more jobs. We want the jobs to go through the union. We want all of our money to go through the union because then we can actually like qualify for our health insurance. So for example, if I were to do the Power Rangers and it was non-union, just say they didn't find out that I did it and I didn't get in trouble.
Right.
And I just did it. Whatever money I made on that show doesn't go toward my year, the amount of money that I need to make every year to keep myself and my child insured.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people don't understand that. Like, they just see an actor on camera, they just see him on the screen and they're just like, oh, they got it made. Everything's working fine for him. But, there's so many things.
There's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
There's so much more to it. Yeah. There's so much more to it. It is a constant hustle.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Forever hustle. And it changes. Like I said, when I first started Power Rangers, like there was no cell phone, there was no email address. Like your agent called you and you went and you picked up your script and your sides, or they faxed it to Kinko's and you would go pick it up.
What?
And
that's wild.
Yeah, that's what I did because I didn't have a fax machine. And after I booked a couple jobs, I bought my very own fax machine, and then I could have my auditions fax to my very own house.
Look at that,
apartment.
Moving up in the world.
Fancy.
Yeah. You made it. I got my own fax machine.
So we've gone through that, from that to to where we are now, which is everything is self-tape. Like now it's like I have an audition due on Monday. Let's do it at 3:00 and I have to tape it at some point this weekend.
Wow.
And, I have myself.
Yeah.
A lot has changed.
Okay.
Always a hustle.
Any more questions about Power Rangers?
I'm sure Mitch has several.
Fire away. Go for it.
She's answered most of the stuff that I had written down.
Okay.
Or talked about it already. So.
Okay. Well,
at least for Power Rangers.
Let's move on.
I had a different TV kind of question.
Go ahead.
So with your acting credits, I saw you've been on shows like NCIS, and what I wanted to ask was, what's like the difference being on set on a show like NCIS versus your appearance on Workaholics?
That's so funny. Well, let me tell you. NCIS was like,
it's location, right?
NCIS was like, just, shows like that, procedurals like that have run for
ever
7 to 10 years. Like they're just like well-oiled. Everybody's such a professional.
Workaholics was more guerrilla.
Nobody from NCIS listens to this show, you're saying.
No, hold on a second. I mean, everybody at Workaholics is professional too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I guess let's say it this way.
Okay.
Workaholics, those guys are geniuses, and it was a blast, and it was like a lot of improv and so much fun.
Yeah.
NCIS, like,
Very cut dry.
It's very cut. You know, you have to hit the marks in sequence.
Yeah.
It's just, I guess it's the same in some way. It's just a different genre, you know. But you know, both those shows are great. I guess what, like, a different comparison would be what is working on NCIS like in like contrast to like an indie movie. You know what I mean? It's like when you're working on a TV show, everything is so organized down to the minute. They get those shows done and made, and you move on, and you like it's just very organized.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You know, you're on a low budget indie movie, and it's like the sun is setting. Hurry, action! Everybody's like freaking out. We didn't get the shot. No, like, what are we gonna do? You know, it's like it's you know, different vibe, different vibe, and you know where you're dirty, you're freezing, you're just doing it for like the passion, for the love of the art. And it's like when you're on a sound stage shooting a TV show, it's very cushy. You know, you can like turn the corner and like have a cappuccino.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that roles that you kind of gravitate more nowadays, where it's just procedural and everything's, you know, kind of like you said, well oiled, or do you mind helping out the little guy here and there? You know, doing an indie film.
I'm doing an indie film right now. I leave on Thursday to go to Rome.
Whoa! Wow.
For this really cool indie that I'm doing, and I get to sing, and it's so much fun. I just recorded a song, and like it's a super low budget indie film, but like I'm going to Rome. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
and I'm doing it for the art of it, because it's a friend of mine who's like wants to get his movie made, and he just decided to finance it himself, and it's going to be incredible.
Wow.
So I'm still doing things like that, but at the end of the day, like, I need to
you don't want
my child,
right?
You know, I need to be home for my kid. I can't just like, you know, run off and, you know, shoot a movie for 6 weeks and
I think that's very admirable.
Thailand.
There's a lot of people who, especially in the industry, that put their lives to the side for work and for films and stuff, and you know, they're just never home. So you know, you're pacing yourself and doing. I mean,
we're definitely like it's like a circus. You know, it's like we're always on the go, and so it's hard to kind of create stability for your child when there isn't like a normal 9 to 5 ever, right?
Right.
And when you're on a TV show, it's not 9 to 5. When you're on a TV show, it's 6 to 6, 7 to 7, it's 8 to 8, it's 10 to 10, it's 3 p.m. to 3 a.m., 12-hour days.
Wow.
So it's on every show. So that's, you know, that's unless you're on a sitcom, which is what I would really love, because I do think that if you're on a sitcom, the hours and the schedule is a little different, a little easier, and you can raise a family and be on a sitcom and be around. Yeah.
I do want to talk more about your TV work, but we gotta talk about Not Another Teen Movie.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah.
So you went from Power Rangers, you know, where it was a kid-friendly kind of everything. Everybody in the family could enjoy it. Not Another Teen Movie, which is by far the best spoof movie ever created. Okay. And your character was phenomenal. I did a little bit of research, and I saw that there was a little bit of conflict of you wanting to do that character. You want to talk more about that?
Well, I just got the audition and I read the script and I was like, oh my God, this is so funny. But I don't want to play the naked girl.
Right.
Can I do one of the other roles?
Right.
You know, but like people they see you for what they want to see you in.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They didn't know. That's how they saw me. They wanted me to read for that role. So that's what I got to audition for. So I auditioned and I was really funny,
Mm-hmm.
and they offered it to me and I turned it down.
Really?
I just didn't think I could do the nudity.
Yeah.
And then they hired someone else,
Uh-huh.
and I don't know what this. It was some. I don't remember. There's a story.
Okay.
They hired someone else, and it didn't work out with her for some reason. But they knew pretty early on it wasn't going to work out with her, and so they offered. It came back to me.
Yeah.
And so I took a long time to think about it, and it was a big deal. It was one of those things that it never occurred to me that anyone was going to ask me to take off my clothes, like in a movie. Like, I just wanted to be an actor again. I started in theater. You know, I've always been performing my whole life.
Yeah.
It didn't occur to me that anyone that it would come up. I hadn't thought about it yet.
I don't think about that. I couldn't imagine. So.
Right? Like, I wasn't like, well, what am I going to do if someone ever asked me to take off my clothes? It never occurred to me. So, so I just, I had to give it some thought and like talk to my family, and then obviously I made the decision to do it, and I have no regrets.
That's
especially
wonderful.
now.
Yeah.
At the time, it was weird, and after
sure.
the movie came out, it was a little crazy. Like, I didn't realize you set yourself up for judgment.
Yeah.
You set yourself up for the whole world to judge your body, and that's really a strange feeling. And yeah,
we're obviously just three dudes, and we grew up watching movies and seeing stuff, that obviously had impact. Most guys grow up and they see their first naked girl on the screen or whatever, and it's definitely a very bipolar experience. But like it's got to be the most bipolar experience for men and women in film, because women are 100% just looked at as it's called male gaze, objectification, and for you to be so comfortable and willing to do that, I couldn't imagine that the stress.
Well, I wasn't so comfortable.
Right.
Like, I was like any other person.
Yeah.
I was totally scared. I had an eating disorder. I was very thin. I was terribly insecure in my body, like most young women are, and probably young men too.
Was that before or after the movie?
It was just both.
Really?
And now the beautiful thing, now I don't feel that way. Now I'm like, oh, I look great.
It's good to hear. Yeah, you do look great.
Now, well, I don't know if I do now, whatever. I have a baby, but like, I don't care. Like, it's so, there's so many more important things to be concerned about. Like, to be being healthy is what matters. And I definitely, but something changed in the business.
Yeah.
It used to be, you had to be that heroin chic, super, super skinny person.
Right.
And that put a lot of pressure on young actresses. And I definitely felt that.
Yeah.
And something has shifted now where like curves are in, and it's like cool to be curvy. Thank you, the Kardashians. Honestly, like, I really think they played a huge part in making curves.
Wow.
I do think that those women have obviously had a ton of plastic surgery, and I have had no plastic surgery, no Botox, no nothing. I'm 100% natural. But like, and that's the other thing. Like, you set yourself up when you do a movie like that. You take off your clothes. Everyone's like, her boobs are fake. No, they're not.
Wow.
This is my body. Everything is real. And to have to defend your body like that is very strange.
It's just, who cares? Like, if you do what you got to do.
Like, yeah, but you do care you do care when they are real,
right?
And everybody's telling you they're not. You care.
Yeah, I understand that,
you
but
know what I mean?
I'm asking. I'm talking to the people who are bothering you about your body image. Like.
I know.
It's so annoying. Like, I can imagine constantly. Yeah. I mean, but here we are on a podcast asking you about your nude film. So.
Well, no, but we're talking about it in a different way. I'm saying, like, no, I was totally scared and nervous and insecure, and like, I thought I didn't, you obviously want. like I'm supposed to play a sexy character.
Right.
Who thinks of themselves as sexy?
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like when you think about that, right?
That's a very good
so
way.
it's also it's a weird mind trick. We're all insecure. We're all human. We all feel nervous about our bodies, right? And male or female, it doesn't matter, right?
Right.
So it's a weird thing to play because it's just interesting playing those types of roles and playing them so young.
Yeah. And I watched that documentary you were in, Skin. I can't remember the full title of it.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very fascinating documentary. It's very platonic how it looks at nudity in film. And the part that you talked about, I thought was really, really well done, you know.
I should watch it. I don't remember what I said.
Well, it was a very landmark kind of historical standpoint on nudity in film because you were spoofing, you were being naked to make fun of being naked in film. Mm-hmm. You know, that's the point of your character. Absolutely. And it's so kind of meta about it that, you know, I thought it was very appropriate. So it was one of those situations where like it definitely calls for the nudity to be there. It makes them way more funny. You know, so the captions spaced perfectly on the screen, you know, the different accents.
Oh, it was hysterical.
Yes.
I was supposed to be in the movie more, but because there was a child in the movie, the kid that played the little brother was like 14 or something. They couldn't by union rules. I couldn't even be on set.
You would have made his day, that's for sure.
That poor kid.
So I got sort of like cut out of the big dance number. There was a lot more for me to do.
Yeah.
So that was a big bummer that didn't happen.
Yeah, it's still a great movie.
Yeah.
I just got to ask, what was it like working with Chris Evans? Did you ever have a scene? I can't remember.
So I didn't really have any scenes. I didn't have any scenes with Chris.
Okay.
We met like during the press junket and stuff. But so because of the nature of my character, because I was nude, my character was nude and I was naked.
You weren't naked for the press junket.
I was just like standing around naked, and then I would have a robe on. Yeah. And so you don't just hang out with everybody else with a robe.
Fair. Chilling, eating a sandwich.
they put you like in a little like holding tent. You know, they put you away because they give you, you know. So I didn't really get to hang out with as many people because I was like in a trailer all alone, sitting in a robe, waiting to go out and shoot my scene. You know,
yeah, that's part of the best part of the movie experience is the hanging out. You know,
I know, but it's you have to have a closed set when you have somebody nude. You just can't have like a person just like naked walking around in a robe. It doesn't work like that, you know. Well, and so,
yeah. Well,
anyway.
for what it's worth, it was wonderful. I thought you did a great job. It was definitely an uptick from Power Rangers, in my opinion. Calm down, mention Tom, but you know, I thought it was very wonderful.
Listen, like there's not wasn't like a conscious choice. Okay, I'm going to go from Power Rangers, and then now I'm going to go be naked in a movie. That wasn't a conscious choice, right? It's the role that I booked.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also like booked a Rika role on a soap opera that like I decided to not take. But like if I would have taken that job, what other jobs would I have not done because I took that job? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
that's one thing that I remember most from that documentary is women constantly being concerned. And I don't think it's as bad as today as it was, 15 years ago. But doing a nudity scene in a film, being typecasted or not casted again because of that, So, but
and if I didn't say this in the documentary, I'm sure I did. I'll say it now. I was told that you can't do too many horror movies. You're just going to be the horror movie chick. You can't do too many nudes. You're just going to be, and you know what? You'll never be on a Disney show. Oh well, I did. I did it. I pushed through.
That's awesome.
I've also got myself back on a kids show. Yeah. So there's also like they say, there's no rules.
Yeah, well, times are changing, but I think it's definitely a testament to your talent.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. So
thank you.
I really want to talk about Cabin Fever and working with Eli Roth. Okay. This was like your first horror movie experience, and I saw this movie when it came out. and I'm trying to remember. I remember the leg shaving scene. Okay.
Yeah.
And I watched an interview with you where you talked about how cold the bath water was. Is there any other experiences in that movie that kind of stick out?
Well, that movie was just incredible from like beginning to end, to now. It was an indie movie that we were all super passionate about.
Right.
Everybody bonded so fast. We all became such good friends. We all went to like dinner every night together and like hung out in the hot tub together. We just all really fell in love with each other. And then look what happened. Like, the movie was a huge success, and we didn't know that was going to happen. You don't know.
It's very rare that happens.
When things like that, are going to like work out that way. So, again, it was just magic. The leg shaving scene is an iconic scene. I feel so grateful that like I was the actor that got to do it. I'm eternally grateful for that movie and to Eli for casting me.
Wow. I
can sort of track back. That movie did a lot for my career. For sure.
Yeah.
It definitely put me on Not Another Teen Movie and Cabin Fever like sort of launched me at the same time.
Yeah.
And look, it's still like a hustle. I'm still auditioning. Like I'm not getting handed things, that's for sure. But like,
right.
But it definitely,
and you were dubbed
really,
Scream Queen. I mean, how very few actresses out there got that title. That's awesome. So
I know I can trace back some of the best things in my life, including my child, to Cabin Fever. Being a part of the horror genre and the horror community, and the success of that movie is just eternally grateful for.
That's wild.
Truly.
Especially it was prolific as Eli Roth is now, and you were there in the beginning. So that's just wonderful.
Yeah, and like he was. Nobody knew who he was before that, right? We were all just
that's right
kids making a movie.
That's right.
And it was that movie that made him Eli Roth.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And there's a formula. Yeah. I'm kind of a horror buff, so there's a formula of like indie filmmakers that want to start out. And it's always a cabin in the woods or something somewhere, and this just fits that formula so perfectly. But it has its own funny spin on it that just works. So it was one of those things. I know one day, maybe I could do something like that. That'd be cool. So
you can do anything. You can do anything.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
You can do anything, Hayden.
You gotta believe that.
Yeah.
As actors, listen, that's how we live off of hope as actors. Like, yes, I'm gonna go do this movie in Rome, and like, yes, I'm coming out in Legend of the White Dragon, and like I have a book out now. And,
yes.
But like we don't know what's next. I don't know what's next. I'm auditioning for this thriller.
Really?
This week, and this audition is due on Monday. Is that going to be my next job? Is that going to be the next movie that I'm talking about? I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe I'm going to just go ahead and say, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
We have to like live off of this hope and believe that like we can book all of these jobs and do all of the things, or else what are you doing? So I believe that you can do it. We can do anything we want.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. I do feel like I can do anything I want now. So.
Don't feed his ego.
Yeah, please don't feed his ego. We deal with it enough here.
Let's move on into the future a little bit. You did some work for Disney, and what was that experience like? The name of the show, Stuck in the Middle, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I played the mom of 7 kids. It was amazing. It was so much fun.
Oh yeah, it was
one of my favorite roles I've ever done. Was one of my favorites.
Was Disney? Did they have like kind of more stricter regulations? Kind of production set regulations or anything crazy, or was it pretty chilled and laid back?
Well, because it's a kids show, like there's definitely it's a children's show. There's kids on set, so. There's just different things that like don't go on a kid's set that go on other sets, just as far as like language.
Yeah,
nobody's dropping F-bombs and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can't take your 5-minute pot smoke break or something like that in the middle of the set or something.
No.
Lame.
So definitely not. But so anyway, that was a really, really fun role for me. That was a transformative role point in my career where like I wasn't, I couldn't really get the auditions anymore to play like the young, like ingenue, the young, damsel in distress running through the woods. I need, I was sort of like aging into this other space where you have to age into as an actor, like being able to play the mother role.
Right.
Yeah. And I could not even get an audition to play a mom.
Really?
To play a mom of one child. Nope. Nobody saw me as that. They're like, no, you're not maternal enough. So I got this audition.
You're not mom enough.
So you became a mom in real life and showed them.
I got this audition and I was like, oh, this is my job.
Yeah.
I was like, mom of 7 kids. This role is in me. This is not what the business sees me as, but this is totally who I am.
Okay.
And it's going to be mine. And it was.
That's
it totally
awesome.
was. But I mean, I had to jump through hoops.
I bet. They
tried to recast me after the pilot. They tried to do a lot of things because they didn't think I was maternal enough.
Really?
Stupid Disney.
And yeah, which is such an insult.
Did you was there like some kind of background politic that had to be played out or something like that? Or
well, no, I just think that they wanted somebody a little bit older and they were looking for an actual Latina actress.
Okay.
But and I'm not, I'm Italian, so they definitely took their time trying to make sure that they wanted me for the role. And it was a really weird time to be, like you basically like they picked up the show and they picked up half of the cast,
right?
But then other people were auditioning to play my role that I had already shot the pilot for. And like I knew in my heart, I was like, there's no one else that can play this part. Like, this is mine. I know it.
Well, I'm glad.
And ultimately, I was right. But, I definitely jumped through hoops for Disney. But it was one of my favorite jobs ever.
Yeah? What's it like working with so many child actors? It sounds like a nightmare, to be honest with you.
No, they're incredible.
Really?
They honestly,
good.
The kids are amazing. They're so talented. I mean, yeah, it's like, it's just different. Look, there's a lot of asshole actors out there, right?
Yes.
So I have worked with some really, really awful people.
Oh.
So, it's it's refreshing to go to set and just have a bunch of young, beautiful faces that are just excited about life.
Yeah.
And want to play.
Sky's the limit at that point. So
were you like name dropping yourself? Like, oh, I'm a Power Ranger.
No, it was cute though. Like when the boys thought that was cool.
Yeah, I bet.
That was cool. But no, they're all like super famous now. They're killing it.
Yeah.
They're killing it.
That's awesome. So are you.
It's a great job. No, well, thanks, guys. Thanks. Hustling.
Well, we got to wrap up here in about 5 minutes or so, but is there anything from your experience in your career that you have? How about this? How would you offer any advice for any starting out actors? What to expect? Make sure you do this. Don't take advantage of that. What's something that you would say? What's your jewel of wisdom for us?
Yeah, to do it, look, there's so much rejection. There's so many no's. So many no's. So you have to do it for the right reasons. You have to do it for the art of it all.
Right.
If you're just like wanting to be famous, that doesn't work. Like it's not going to work.
Right.
If you really want to be an actor, you need to get into acting class and shoot scenes with your friends and make short films on your iPhone and study and do it for the art of it. I think that like I didn't set out to be famous. I set out to be an actor for my job. And it is a job. It's a lot of work. So that would be number one. And then number two is like, you have to have a full life that you love because there's so much rejection and there's so many no's. You have to love your life. You can't just like hope, you can't just, base your happiness off of whether you're working or not, because off the time you're not working, you're working to get work. So it's really important that you love your life and your family, your friends, your friends have other hobbies and things like that. Because it's that when you're really doing this for a living, it's that gets you through the moments where you pour your heart and soul into a character, into an audition, and you just like know that it's going to be yours, and then it's not.
I think that's,
and that is tough.
We've talked to
move on.
We've talked to a couple actors, and they all pretty much say the same thing. I think a lot of them are grateful just to be working, and I think some of them are even grateful that they're not doing anything crazy like giant $300 million budget movies with insane schedules and just giving up their life for a year because they enjoy having a family to come home to. And
I would totally welcome that, because that also, like, in some ways, again, because like you don't know where your next job is coming from, like you eat what you kill in this business. And so those big money jobs can get you through a few years.
Oh yeah.
Where you don't have big money jobs. You know what I'm saying? So it's
okay.
I don't know.
Take what you can get.
It's all about balance.
I hear you.
Yeah, it's all about balance.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Can I plug my book?
Oh, yeah. By all means, all the things. Plug them all.
Okay, so you guys, I wrote a book called Everybody Has a Belly Button. Well, I wrote a book series.
Okay.
In my 30s, but we don't have to talk about that. But I recently had a book come out. You can find it everywhere: Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Target, Walmart. It's called Everybody Has a Belly Button.
Okay.
I wrote it the day that George Floyd was murdered.
Okay.
It teaches babies about skin color, the way you teach your baby how to find their belly button, their nose, their eyes, and their toes, all written in rhyme. There's a beautiful, beautiful artist, Zoe Hunter, who brought the book to life. I wanted a woman of color to do the art. And she's just extraordinary. And it's really special. I wrote it for my child, just to start the conversation about race and skin color and equality. And but it's for and now it's published, and so it's for every baby.
No way. That's awesome.
Every baby and every toddler out there. Yeah.
Is this a growing passion for you? You would call it a children's book, correct?
It's a children's book.
And is this a growing passion for you? You want to do this more?
Well,
she's written 3 books.
I just
and she used to be a columnist for HuffPost.
This is my 4th.
Wow.
So I'm just trying to do good.
Yeah.
And it was in my heart, and it was in my head, and I wrote it, and now it's in the world.
That's
and
awesome.
I don't know what's next.
Yeah.
I have like 3 others that are written. We'll see if they get published too. Hopefully they will. So yeah, I want to write more. I have a kids show that I'm actually pitching about the environment that I created with my sister.
Oh wow.
And so yeah, I'm just all over hustling.
Yeah, well, hey,
the whole family.
Ain't hustling. I think you're a morally opportunist person, and there definitely needs to be more people like you in the world. So, thank you so much for what you do, and it was such a pleasure. And I really hope we get to do it again one day.
Yeah, please. Yeah, reach out. When does this air?
It'll come out on Thursday next week. So.
All right, I will be flying to Italy, but send me. Send me the thing so I can post the thing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Please do.
That's your job.
Thanks so much. All right.
Appreciate it.